If this video has reached you, it's not an accident. It's a calling. There's a reason why you feel like your life is stuck in an endless cycle. The same anxiety, the same problems, the same feeling of being trapped. The truth, you're inside a cage, but it's not made of iron, it's made of thoughts. Millennia ago, the Egyptian sage, Thoth, revealed a secret. You are not a physical body. You are a star trapped in a body. And the way you were taught to think, only in 3 dimensions, was designed to keep you from remembering your power to create reality. But today, that ends. In this video, I'm not going to give you tips on positive thinking. I'm going to hand you Thoth's 7 lost keys to activate 4D thinking. With the first key, you'll feel an immediate shift. By the 4th, you'll understand how your heart is a dimensional portal. But it's the 7th key that holds the most dangerous and liberating secret of all. A secret that, once understood, makes it impossible to go back to living the way you did before. Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to discover is not just a theory, it's the instruction manual to your own reality. This awareness that time is not a ruthless straight line is not some new idea or new age theory. It's ancient wisdom, a lost knowledge that formed the foundation of the most mysterious civilizations in history. While today we are slaves to the clock, living in a frantic race against passing seconds, the ancient Egyptians, the Mayans, and shamans from age-old traditions saw time in a radically different way. To them, time wasn't an arrow shot in one direction, but a vast ocean, a field of infinite possibilities, with currents, tides, and depths to be explored. They didn't just believe in this as blind faith, they lived this truth. Their lives, their sacred rituals, and even the monumental architecture they built were manifestations of this deep understanding. The pyramids weren't just tombs, they were quantum machines, acupuncture points on Earth, designed to align cosmic energies and create dimensional portals. The Mayan calendars, with their astonishing precision, weren't just used to mark harvests. They were complex maps of the different qualities and textures of time, guides to navigate the energies of different eras. To these cultures, the future wasn't an uncertain destination to be feared or anxiously awaited. It was a place, a point on the map of time that could be visited through elevated states of consciousness. Shamans, in deep trances, traveled into the future to find healing or guidance for the tribe. Egyptian priests, through complex rituals, accessed what they called the duat, a realm that wasn't simply an afterlife, but a parallel dimension where past, present, and future existed simultaneously, like different rooms in the same palace. This idea echoes through Hermetic texts, like the Corpus Hermeticum, which describes time as the moving image of eternity. Think about what that means. The time we perceive is just a reflection, a dancing shadow of a greater eternal reality that's always present. Alchemy, in its true spiritual essence, was also based on this principle. The journey of the alchemist wasn't linear. He didn't move in a straight line from lead to gold. He moved in spirals, deepening his consciousness, revisiting past events not to mourn them, but to transmute their energy, to turn the lead of trauma into the gold of wisdom. This worldview allowed for unimaginable power. If time is a field, then it can be influenced. If the future is a place, then it can be chosen. The ancients weren't passive victims of fate, they were active co-creators of their reality. They understood that every present moment was a point of power, a crossroads from which you could launch intention to shape both what was and what will be. They were true time navigators, masters of an art our modern civilization, obsessed with matter, has completely forgotten. The abandonment of this wisdom was no accident. Such a deep understanding of reality gives immense power to the individual. If you know you can navigate time, influence your future, and rewrite the energy of your past, you become sovereign over your own existence. You stop being a pawn in someone else's game and become the player. And that is a direct threat to any system that depends on control, obedience, and the powerlessness of the masses. This wisdom didn't disappear. It was deliberately suppressed, hidden, labeled as heresy, occultism, or fantasy. It was replaced with a mechanistic, linear worldview that traps us on the wheel of time, making us slaves to guilt over the past and anxiety about the future. And the reason behind this systematic silencing reveals the true and shocking nature of the prison we live in. A prison that wasn't built to protect us, but to limit us. The fact that you feel disconnected from this immense power to navigate time is not your failure. It's not that you're not spiritual enough, or that you've lost some innate ability. This disconnection was designed. It's the result of a careful, centuries-old conditioning program, a social and cultural structure specifically crafted to keep you in a state of low vibrational frequency. The goal is simple: to chain your consciousness to the illusion of linear time, turning you into a prisoner of your own mind. Think about how our society operates. From a young age, we're taught to live by the clock. Guilt for what we did yesterday and anxiety about what we have to do tomorrow become the two pillars of our existence. The past is presented as an unchangeable burden, a collection of mistakes and traumas that define who we are. The future is painted as a constant threat, a minefield of uncertainty and obligations that demand non-stop worry and planning. The now, the only real moment that exists, is squeezed until it almost disappears. This is the real matrix. Not a computer simulation, but a mental prison built on the tyranny of linear time. By keeping you trapped between guilt and fear, the system ensures that your vital energy is constantly drained. You stay exhausted, reactive, always putting out fires with no time or strength to question the nature of your own reality. You become a slave to the clock, endlessly running on a treadmill that goes nowhere, believing this is the only way to live. Ancient spiritual alchemy had already exposed this trap. Alchemists classified fear and guilt as base metals, the lead of the soul. They knew these low-vibration, emotional states were like anchors that chained the spirit to matter, preventing transmutation and the ascension of consciousness. Thoth, in his teachings, was clear when he said, "Darkness is also a chain that binds man to the shadows of the night." This darkness is the state of unconsciousness created by fear of the future and attachment to the past. This programming of powerlessness is subtle and everywhere. It's in the educational system that trains you to obey and memorize, not to create and question. It's in the media that bombards you with crisis and disaster news, keeping your nervous system in a constant state of alert. It's in the consumer culture that convinces you your happiness lies in the next product, the next purchase, keeping you forever dissatisfied and chasing something outside yourself. The ultimate goal of this time conditioning is to make you forget who you really are. It's to make you believe you are powerless, a victim of circumstance, a boat adrift on the river of time. When you believe this, you give away your power. You stop looking inward for answers and start seeking external saviors. A government, a guru, a partner, a job. You become easy to control, to manipulate, to guide. You become the perfect gear to keep the machine running. And yet, no matter how sophisticated this programming is, it's not flawless. It has cracks. There are moments, glitches in the matrix, when the structure fails and the truth leaks out. Moments of sudden clarity, of unexplainable intuition, of coincidences so perfect they defy logic. They are glimpses from the other side of the veil, a direct call from your soul, a reminder that something much greater is waiting for you. And that call, that system glitch, might be happening to you right now. These glitches in the programming aren't random errors. They're messages. Think about those experiences you could never explain. That déjà vu so intense it gave you goosebumps. The overwhelming feeling of having lived a moment for the first time. Or those vivid dreams, so real and detailed that when you woke up, it took you a few seconds to tell what was dream and what was reality. And that sudden intuition, that unexplainable impulse that made you take a different route, and later you found out you avoided an accident. You've always brushed these off as coincidence or imagination. But what if they're not? What if these phenomena are actually echoes from a version of you that has already transcended time? Imagine that part of you, your higher self, your most elevated consciousness, isn't trapped on the timeline like you are. That version of you has already lived every possibility, already overcome all the challenges you're facing now, already reached mastery. It doesn't see time as a line, but as a full panorama map where all paths are visible at once, and it's constantly trying to guide you. These signals are the whispers, the information downloads that this future version of you sends across dimensions to your present self. Déjà vu is a reminder that you're on the right path, a checkpoint on your journey. Vivid dreams are often simulations, training sessions, or direct messages from your subconscious, which is connected to this greater field of information. Intuition is your quantum GPS instant guidance, coming from a perspective that already knows the terrain ahead. The Kabbalion, a foundational Hermetic text, teaches that time, space, and causality are illusions relative to our sensory perception. To our limited consciousness, trapped in the five senses, these concepts seem like absolute laws. But to the higher self, the light man described by Thoth, they're just variables in a unified field of consciousness. Time, to this elevated consciousness, is like a book. While you're reading it, page by page, thinking the story unfolds linearly, your higher self sees the entire book from beginning to end all at once. So the phenomena we call premonitions, intuitions, or synchronicities aren't anomalies or supernatural powers. They're physics. They're fragments of information from parallel or future realities accessing your focal point of consciousness in the present. They're data packets downloads from your already accomplished future sent to help you navigate the complexities of your current journey. You're not going crazy. You're starting to tune into a higher frequency. The problem is, we've been programmed to ignore these signs. We were taught to only trust logic, reason, what's tangible. The voice of intuition got drowned out by the noise of the rational mind. We dismiss those whispers as nonsense, and in doing so, we shut off our communication channel with our own higher wisdom. We keep navigating in the dark, using an outdated map, even though we have access to real-time guidance from the one who's already reached the destination. The question then becomes transformative. Are you going to keep treating those signs as random accidents, as noise in the system? Or will you start recognizing them for what they truly are? A direct line of communication with the wisest part of you. What if you could consciously open that channel? What if, instead of waiting for those accidental connections, you could pick up the phone and make a direct call to your future self, asking for guidance, clarity, and strength whenever you need it? The ability to communicate with your future self and shape reality may sound like an esoteric fantasy, but the truth is, you already do it every day, just unconsciously, and often against yourself. Thinking in 4 dimensions isn't some abstract concept. It's a practical mechanism, a function of your own brain that modern science is only beginning to understand. And the key to it lies in a principle that alchemists and spiritual masters have known for millennia: to your brain. There's no difference between a real experience and one vividly imagined. When you remember a traumatic event from the past, your body reacts as if it's happening now. Your heart races, your muscles tense, stress hormones like cortisol flood your bloodstream. Likewise, when you intensely worry about a future event that might never happen, your body also goes into survival mode. You are, literally, living a negative future before it even arrives. Your brain and body don't distinguish fact from mental fiction. They respond to the image and the feeling you create in your mind. This discovery in neuroscience has an absolutely revolutionary implication. Your past and your future are not fixed, immutable entities. They're fields of information energy patterns that are constantly reacting to and being reconfigured by your state of consciousness in the present moment. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, is sending a command to your brain and to the quantum field, reinforcing a certain reality. You are the director of a movie, and your mind is the screen where scenes from the past and future are projected and re-edited every second. Thoth taught that the universe moves in response to the command of the mind. That's not just beautiful poetry, it's an instruction manual. Tablet 4, known as the Key of Wisdom, details exactly this process. The practice of mental alchemy is the art of using focused imagination, the mental image, and elevated emotion, the feeling in the heart, to cause real changes in matter and time. You're not just thinking positive, you're generating an electromagnetic signature, a frequency that interacts with the field of potentialities and attracts a matching reality. Today, science is giving new names to this ancient wisdom. Neuroplasticity proves that our thoughts can literally rewire the circuits in our brain, creating new neural pathways. Epigenetics shows that our feelings and perceptions can alter gene expression, turning certain predispositions on or off. In other words, science is confirming that you have the power to rewrite your biology and, by extension, your biography through the power of your own consciousness. The problem is, most of us use this power destructively. We use our imagination to rehearse failure, to relive pain, to worry about scarcity. We create mental images of illness, loneliness, and struggle, and then wonder why these experiences keep showing up in our lives. We're giving our brain and the universe a detailed blueprint of the reality we don't want, and they faithfully build it for us. We're using a divine creation tool to dig our own grave. The turning point comes when you realize you can use that same power deliberately and constructively. You can use your imagination to rehearse success, to feel the joy of healing, to live the emotion of abundance even before it shows up. You can start sending a new blueprint to the universe, one based on your highest potential, not your past wounds. But true mastery, the moment when the game really changes, begins when you learn to use that frequency, not just to create a new future, but to go beyond, to heal and rewrite the very energy of what already happened. The idea of changing the past seems impossible, like a violation of the laws of physics. And yes, you can't go back in time and erase the facts. What happened, happened. But what most people don't understand is that the power of a past event doesn't lie in the fact itself, but in the emotional and vibrational charge it left in your energy field. It's that charge, that energetic wound, that continues to echo in your presence, sabotaging your decisions, coloring your perceptions, and attracting similar experiences over and over again. And that charge can be changed. This is quantum alchemy in action. It's not about denying the pain or pretending the trauma didn't exist. It's a process of frequency transmutation. Imagine each traumatic memory as a dissonant musical note vibrating constantly in your energetic field. That off-key note disrupts the harmony of your entire personal symphony. Rewriting the past isn't about erasing the note but changing its vibration, tuning it until it harmonizes with your music. That's what Thoth taught and what modern energy psychology, like EFT, emotional freedom techniques, confirms through practical methods. The heart of the great alchemical work is exactly this, transforming the lead of trauma into the gold of wisdom. Lead is dense, heavy, toxicates the energy of victimhood, resentment, guilt. Gold is luminous, pure, valuable. It's the energy of understanding, forgiveness, and reclaimed power. The event itself doesn't change, but your relationship with it changes completely. The memory stops being a source of pain and becomes a source of strength, a learned lesson that pushed you to grow. You're no longer defined by your wound. You're defined by your ability to heal it. Thoth's Tablet 9, known as the key to freedom of space and time, is a guide to this process. In it, he states, "Free yourself from the past, for only then will you be free." He teaches that the vibration of a memory is not permanently welded to the event. It is linked to your perception of the event. By changing your perception through focused intention, sound mantras, power words, and elevated emotion, gratitude, compassion, you can literally alter the energetic signature of that event in your personal timeline. You are removing the poison from the arrow that hit you. Think of someone who hurt you deeply. As long as you hold onto the vibration of resentment, you remain energetically chained to that person and that event. You give them the power to keep hurting you even if they're no longer in your life. The act of forgiveness, from the alchemical perspective, is not a favor you do for the other person. It's an act of liberation for yourself. You're cutting the vibrational chain, reclaiming your energy, and rewriting the energetic contract of that experience. You stop being the victim and become the alchemist. This rewriting process isn't just a mental exercise. It creates real physiological changes. By transmuting the energy of a memory, you deactivate the neural triggers associated with it. What used to cause an instant reaction of fear or anger now becomes a neutral memory, like watching an old movie that no longer affects you. You release the chronic stress stored in your cells, allowing your body to finally exit survival mode and enter a state of regeneration and vitality. This is the point where theory becomes irrelevant and practice becomes everything. You have in your hands the ability to become the master of your own internal time, to heal the wounds that kept you stuck, and to recover the energy you left scattered along the way. You no longer need to be a slave to your past. You can become its healer, and this is where real power practices begin. The first key, the most fundamental of all, doesn't require anything from you except your presence, and it can be activated today, instantly shifting your reality. The first key to unlocking four-dimensional thinking is the simplest in concept, but the deepest in practice. Forget everything you've heard about meditation. Forget the idea that you need to empty your mind or stop thinking. Trying to stop the mind is like trying to stop the ocean from having waves. It's a losing battle that only creates frustration and makes you believe that meditation isn't for you. Real meditation, quantum observer meditation, isn't about fighting the mind. It's about changing your relationship with it. Imagine your mind is an infinite blue sky. Thoughts are the clouds that pass through this sky. Some are white and fluffy, others dark and stormy. Since you were born, you've been taught to identify with the clouds. When a cloud of anger appears, you say, "I'm angry." When a cloud of sadness passes, you say, "I'm sad." You believe you are the cloud. Quantum observer meditation is the act of stepping back and realizing you are not the cloud. You are the sky that watches the clouds pass, without judgment, without attachment. This practice is an act of radical presence. It's like looking in the mirror for the first time in your life and, instead of immediately judging the appearance, criticizing flaws, or admiring qualities, you simply recognize the awareness that's looking through those eyes. You become the silent observer behind thoughts, feelings, and sensations. You realize there's a you that's aware of the thoughts, you that's aware of the emotions, and that observing you is your true self. Thoth stated in his teachings, "Know thyself and you will know the masters and the secrets of time and space." That phrase isn't an invitation to intellectual study, but to self-observation. In Hermeticism, meditation isn't an escape from reality, it's a deep dive into it. It's the practice that dissolves the illusion of the five senses, that makes you realize you are not your body, not your mind, not your story. By practicing non-judgmental self-observation, you activate what's called oneness presence, the 0 point. The 0 point is the present moment in its purest form. It's the space between thoughts, the silence behind the noise. In this state, the now becomes eternal, and it's in this field of pure potentiality that real magic happens. In quantum physics, the act of observation collapses the wave function, turning infinite possibilities into a manifested reality. Likewise, when you become the quantum observer of your own mind, you stop being unconsciously dragged by old programming and gain the power to choose which reality you want to collapse. Mental alchemy begins exactly here. Without the ability to disidentify from your automatic thoughts, any attempt to create a new reality will be sabotaged. It's like trying to paint a masterpiece on a canvas that's already full of scribbles. First, you need a clean space. Observer meditation creates that space. It gives you the clarity to see the patterns, to recognize the limiting beliefs running in loops in your subconscious without being dominated by them. So, the practice is simple. Sit in silence for a few minutes each day. Close your eyes and just observe. Watch the thoughts come and go like cars on a highway. Don't try to stop them. Don't judge them. Don't get attached to them. Just observe. Observe the sensations in your body. Observe the sounds around you. Each time your attention gets hijacked by a thought, gently bring it back to the position of the observer. But know this, just observing, as powerful as it is, isn't enough if your creative force, your intention, is contaminated. There's a subtle poison, an invisible programming that may be sabotaging your entire manifestation power right now. Now that you've learned how to sit on the riverbank of your mind, watching your thoughts float by without drowning in them, we arrive at the second key. This is the moment to consciously choose which boats you allow to sail your waters. Most people confuse intention with desire. Desire is like it's the vibration of "I don't have this, so I want it." Pure intention, on the other hand, is a command. It's the clear and focused frequency of a reality you choose as yours. It's the difference between begging and signing a decree, and you may be, right now, poisoning your own decrees. Pay attention to your inner dialogue, to the phrases you silently repeat every day. When something good happens, does a voice whisper, "This is too good to be true"? When you face a challenge, do you hear yourself say, "I never get what I want," or "Nothing ever works out for me"? These aren't just harmless observations, they're spells. Vibrational spells you cast on yourself, direct orders you give the quantum field to keep your reality exactly as it is, stuck in the cycle of self-sabotage and self-fulfilling prophecy. Ancient Hermeticism teaches that the word, the logos, is the creative force of the universe. In the beginning was the word. Thoth was even more direct in his teachings. The word is power. The word is sound, and sound has the power to build and destroy. Every sentence you speak, whether aloud to the world or silently in your mind, is a seed you plant in the fertile soil of your reality. If you plant seeds of doubt, scarcity, and bad luck, you can't expect to harvest a forest of abundance, confidence, and success. Alchemy demands a conscious reprogramming of what the ancients called the inner Mercury, your mind. The mind is like a mirror. If it's smudged with the fingerprints of fear, guilt, and self-criticism, it can only reflect a distorted and limited image of reality, the lead of beliefs that imprison you. Purifying intention is the act of cleaning that mirror. It's deliberately choosing to polish the surface of your mind so it can reflect the pure, shining image of your soul, the frequency of the gold of your true essence and potential. This purification begins with vigilance. Become a gatekeeper of your mind. Question every negative thought that tries to enter. Where did it come from? Is it really yours? Or is it an echo of your parents' voice, a teacher, society? When you catch yourself repeating a limiting phrase, stop, cancel the decree, and consciously replace it with a new truth, an affirmation aligned with the reality you choose to create. I am capable. The universe is conspiring in my favor. I am worthy of all good. At first, your rational mind will fight back. It'll feel fake, forced. That's normal. You're uninstalling a program that's been running for decades and installing a new one. Repetition is the key. Just like repetition of negative thoughts carved the neural ruts that keep you stuck, the conscious repetition of new truths will create new paths, new neural highways that will lead you to a different destination. You are, literally, rewriting the source code of your personal reality. This is the true power of the magician, the alchemist. It's not about waving a wand. It's about mastering your own word. It's about understanding that every word carries a frequency, and that the universe is always listening not to what you say you want, but to the frequency you consistently emit. But what good is pure intention, a golden seed, if you try to plant it in concrete? What good is the intention to fly if you believe you don't have wings? The next key reveals how to demolish the concrete walls of your own mental prison. Your intention may now be as pure as a diamond, but if you project it onto a belief system that contradicts it, it shatters. You need to understand something fundamental. Your deepest beliefs, the ones running behind the scenes of your mind, are not yours. They were installed in you. Like software loaded onto a new computer, your beliefs about money, love, health, your own worth, they were programmed by your family, the culture you grew up in, the religion you were taught, and the society that shaped you. And they run on autopilot. This subconscious belief system is the invisible operating system of your life. It works 24/7, filtering your reality and sabotaging your purest intentions before they even have a chance to sprout. You can affirm, "I am prosperous," all day long, but if your subconscious holds the belief that money is dirty or rich people aren't good people, your internal operating system will make sure you get rid of any extra money that shows up. It'll create situations, unexpected expenses, bad deals, anything to keep you consistent with your deepest programming. Trying to manifest a new reality on top of an old, limiting belief system is like trying to build a skyscraper on a swamp. You might even get a few floors up. For a while, it may seem like it's working, but the foundation is unstable. At the first storm, the first difficulty, the whole structure will collapse, pulling you back into the same old swamp. That's why so many people try to change and fail, concluding that none of this works, when the problem was never the technique, it was the foundation. In alchemy, this process of demolition and reconstruction has a sacred name: solve et coagula. Dissolve and coagulate. Before you can coagulate or manifest a new golden reality, you must first dissolve the rigid and crystallized mental structures of the past. You need to take the hammer of consciousness and break through the concrete of inherited beliefs. Thoth taught that man must become a master of forms, someone capable of dissolving their own mental matrix so they can recreate it according to divine will, not social programming. How do you do that? Start by identifying the beliefs. Look at the areas of your life where you feel the most stuck. Money, relationships, health. These are the areas where your most limiting core beliefs are operating. Ask yourself, what would I have to believe for this situation to keep repeating in my life? Be brutally honest. Write down the answers. I must believe I'm not good enough. I must believe I don't deserve to be loved. I must believe life is a constant struggle. By bringing those beliefs out of the dark basement of your subconscious into the light of awareness, you're already starting to take away their power. A belief only holds power while it operates in the shadows, disguised as absolute truth. When you expose it, you see it for what it really is. Just an idea, a story you were told and chose to believe. And if you chose to believe it, you can choose to unbelieve it. You can start to question it, challenge it, look for evidence to the contrary. That's the beginning of demolition. Only after that demolition, after the soil has been cleared of the rubble of old Lyscan, you start to coagulate, to build the new structure. Now your pure intention meets fertile ground, a solid foundation to grow from. The process isn't overnight. but it's the only path to lasting change. Once your intention is purified and the old beliefs have been demolished, you've got the blueprint and the land. But you still need the engine, the energy that will actually raise the building of your new reality. And that engine isn't thought, it's emotion. You already have the clarity of the observer, the purity of intention, and the cleared ground of old beliefs. Now you need the power. And the greatest energy generator in your body isn't your brain, it's your heart. The brain thinks it creates the blueprint, the map of the reality you desire. But it's the heart that magnetizes, that attracts, that pulls that reality from the quantum field into your physical experience. Thought is the electrical charge, feeling is the magnetic charge, and you need both to create a powerful electromagnetic field capable of influencing matter. Modern science, through institutes like HeartMath, has discovered what ancient sages already knew and practiced in their temples. They found that the human heart generates an electromagnetic field up to 5,000 times stronger than the one generated by the brain. This field, shaped like a torus, a donut, extends several feet around your body. You are literally broadcasting your emotional signature to the universe with every heartbeat. The question is, what emotion are you broadcasting? The ancients called this wisdom the intelligence of the heart. They knew the heart wasn't just a blood pump, but a dimensional portal, a second brain with its own complex neural network. When you're feeling the energy of your heart is in perfect sync with your thought, the mental image from your brain, you create a powerful state called heart coherence. It's a state of total alignment, where the mind and heart stop fighting and start working together, singing the same song, emitting a single, powerful frequency. It's in this state of coherence that miracles happen. This is where time seems to bend, where synchronicities speed up, where reality starts responding in ways the logical mind can't explain. Because when you're in coherence, you're no longer just asking or wishing. You're becoming vibrationally the reality you want to experience. You're not trying to attract abundance, you're feeling the emotion of abundance in every cell of your body right now. And by the law of resonance, the universe has no choice but to bring you more of what you already are. So how do you reach this state? The practice is simpler than it sounds. Start by focusing your attention on your heart area. Breathe slowly and deeply, imagining that you're inhaling and exhaling through your heart center. Then, deliberately activate an elevated emotion. Remember a moment of pure joy, unconditional love, or deep gratitude. Don't just think about the feeling, feel it. Let it flood your body. Feel the warmth, the expansion in your chest. Hold that feeling for a few minutes. By doing this, you're changing your physiology in real time. You're balancing your nervous system, increasing beneficial hormones like DHEA and lowering stress hormones. More importantly, you're sending a coherent, powerful signal to the quantum field, a signal that says, "This is my new reality. This is who I am now." You become a perfectly tuned radio transmitter. But even with perfect coherence, you're still just one musical note, beautiful and powerful, yes. But to create a symphony, to manifest grand changes in the outer world, you need the next key: resonance. You can meditate for hours, visualize the perfect life, and feel immense gratitude in your heart. But if you get up, walk out the door, and your actions contradict the frequency you've been cultivating, all your inner work collapses. The quantum field doesn't just respond to what you think or feel, it responds to what you are. And what you are is expressed through what you do. Action is the final seal. It's your signature on the contract with the universe, the physical proof that you truly believe in the reality you're creating. Without coherent action, your intention is just a wish floating in the ether. Reality doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to who you're being. Every decision you make, from the food you eat to the people you choose to spend time with, is a vote. Are you voting for your old reality or your new one? Every step you take, every word you speak, is a spell in motion, a command to the universe. If you claim you want to be prosperous, but continue making decisions based on fear of lack, you're sending mixed signals. The universe, confused, just maintains the status quo. Acting as if isn't about pretending or being fake. It's a quantum command. It's about embodying the energy of your future self now. If you want to be a confident person, start taking small actions that a confident person would take. Speak more clearly, stand tall, make eye contact. If you want to be healthy, start acting like a healthy person would, making choices that honor your body. You're not waiting for reality to change before you act, you're acting so that reality changes. You become the cause, not the effect. This is the practical meaning of the famous Hermetic law of correspondence. As within, so without. The coherence between your inner world thought and feeling and your outer world action and word is the sacred triad of the Egyptian alchemist. Thoth taught that divine will can only manifest through action. Action is what grounds energy, what brings it from the invisible plane of mind to the visible plane of matter. Without that bridge, your creations remain stuck in the world of ideas, like architectural plans that are never built. What's more, when you act in coherence, you activate the powerful law of resonance in a new way. You begin to vibrate at a frequency that attracts other people, places, opportunities, and events that are tuned to the same wavelength. It's like you become a tuning fork, and by vibrating, you cause all the other tuning forks of the same note around you to start vibrating too. Hermetic texts called this vibrational choirs amplified energy fields, where manifestation is exponentially accelerated. You stop struggling alone and become supported by a cosmic symphony. Don't underestimate the power of small actions. You don't need to quit your job or move to another country tomorrow. Start small. Make one choice today that your future self would make. Say no to something that drains your energy. Say yes to something that inspires you, even if it feels insignificant. Every small, coherent action is like a drop of water that, over time, has the power to break through the hardest rock of your old programming. You are building energetic momentum. When you become that beacon of coherence, the universe begins to reorganize around you. This is where you step into the flow of synchronicity. Synchronicities aren't happy accidents or random coincidences. They're the physical response of the universe to your new vibrational signature. They're the dots connecting, the invisible web of reality becoming visible. It's the universe winking at you, confirming that it got your message and is working in your favor. You stop being someone who looks for opportunities and become a vortex that magnetically attracts them. Think about it. Suddenly, you think of a friend you haven't seen in years, and on the same day, they call you. You need a specific piece of information for a project, and you just happen to open a book right to the page with the answer. You're looking for a new job, and a stranger in a cafe overhears. your conversation and offers you the contact of the right person. The 3D mind calls this luck. 4D consciousness recognizes it as physics. It's your internal frequency resonating with matching external frequencies. When you operate in 4D, aligned and coherent, you no longer need to force doors open. They just open as you walk by. The resources you need seem to materialize out of nowhere. The right people, mentors, partners, clients, show up in your life at the exact moment they're needed. The world isn't giving you luck, it's simply mirroring the order, clarity, and coherence you've finally established within yourself. The external chaos dissolves because the internal chaos has been calmed. Psychologist Carl Jung, who coined the term synchronicity, described it as an acausal connecting principle. It's a modern echo of what the ancient Hermeticists called cosmic sympathy. Thoth, in his teachings, described the universe as a living web of interconnections, a unified field of consciousness he called a kosha. Every thought, feeling, and action creates a ripple in that web. When your frequency rises and stabilizes, your vibration begins to pull on the threads of that web that resonate with it, creating events that seem miraculous to the linear mind. At first, synchronicities might be small, almost unnoticeable. A repeating number you see everywhere, a song lyric that feels like it's speaking directly to you. But as you pay attention and acknowledge these events with gratitude, you amplify them. You're telling the universe, "Yes, I saw that. Thank you. Send more." The flow begins to increase. Synchronicities become bigger, more frequent, more undeniable. Life stops being a struggle and becomes a magical dance, a collaboration between you and the cosmos. You've aligned your thinking, purified your intention, demolished your old beliefs, activated the power of your heart, and acted in coherence. You've become a vortex of synchronicity. Now comes the final stage, the master move that separates the amateur from the alchemist, the command of silence. It's the act of letting go. It's complete detachment from the outcome. After doing all the internal and external work, you plant the seed of your intention in the fertile soil of the universe, and then you take your hands off. You trust the process. Most people fail right here. They do everything right, but then they get filled with anxiety, checking every 5 minutes to see if the seed has sprouted. Is it working? When will it happen? Did I do it right? That energy of doubt, of neediness, of impatience, is like digging up the seed over and over to see if it's growing. You end up killing the process. Attachment to the outcome sends a frequency of lack to the universe, a vibration that says, "I don't have it yet," which cancels the frequency of "I already am" that you worked so hard to build. This act of silence isn't passivity, it's a command of power. It's the demonstration of such absolute faith that you don't need external proof to know your reality is already on its way. It's the calm trust of the farmer who plants the seed and knows the sun, the rain, and the earth will do their part. He's not out there yelling at the seed to grow faster. He tends the field and lets nature run its course. Handing the outcome over to the universe is the final act of power, because it shows that your happiness doesn't depend on the manifestation, since you're already feeling it now. In alchemy, after the coagular phase, the manifestation comes, the putrefaction phase. It sounds strange, but it symbolizes silence, darkness, the fertile void where invisible transformation happens away from the curious eyes of the ego. Thoth teaches in his tablets, Silence is of great profit. It's in the void, the space between thoughts, what quantum physics calls the 0 point, that the divine mind, the al operates without the interference of your small and limited mind. Surrendering the request to silence is not giving up. It's stepping aside and allowing an infinitely greater intelligence to orchestrate the details. When you let go, you move your consciousness to the 0 point, the quantum vacuum from which all things are born. You become a neutral observer, full of curiosity and wonder about how your creation will manifest, instead of being anxious and controlling about the details. That neutrality is magnetically powerful. It allows the universe to surprise you with results even better than you imagined, to bring your manifestation through the path of least resistance, a path your logical mind could never have predicted. So how do you practice detachment? After doing your alignment work, get busy. Go live your life. Find joy in the present moment. Focus on other things that inspire you. If doubt or impatience show up, just observe them like passing clouds. Don't identify with them. And gently return your attention to gratitude for what you already have and certainty in what's coming. Treat your intention like an online order. You don't sit refreshing the page every second. You trust that the delivery is on its way. When you integrate these keys and begin operating consistently from a four-dimensional consciousness, something subtle and profound happens. You might expect the world around you to magically shift to fit you, but the mechanism is much more elegant. You don't force the world to change. Instead, you quietly slide into a version of the world, a parallel timeline that already matches your new frequency. It's like tuning a radio dial. The song doesn't change at the station. You change stations to find the song you want to hear. Suddenly, you look around and people seem different. That coworker who always annoyed you suddenly seems calmer or gets transferred to another department. Toxic relationships that drained your energy naturally dissolved without drama or conflict. New people vibrating in the same frequency of inspiration and growth as you enter your life as if they'd always been there. External circumstances shift dramatically. It's not that they changed because of you, it's that you tuned into a different radio station, a version of reality where those problems don't exist. The Hermetic principle of vibration states that nothing rests. Everything moves, everything vibrates. Quantum physics, with its theory of multiple universes or many timelines, postulates a similar idea. All possible realities already exist as potential in the quantum field. There is a version of you that is healthy, prosperous, and happy. There is a version of you that's still stuck in old patterns. In every moment, with your vibrational frequency, you are choosing which of those timelines you will experience. By shifting your fundamental vibration through working with the 7 keys, you accomplish what Thoth called the journey of the soul through the planes. You don't alter the plane you're in, you move to the plane that matches your new nature. That's why trying to convince or change others is a waste of energy. You can't force anyone to change radio stations. All you can do is become the clearest and most powerful transmission of your own frequency. And those who resonate with it will naturally be drawn into your orbit. That realization is liberating. It frees you from the burden of trying to fix the world or the people around you. Your only job is to fix yourself, to align yourself. By doing that, you automatically move into a reality where things are already fixed. You stop fighting the shadows and simply turn on your light, which transports you to a room that's already lit. The people who remain in your life are those capable of making that transition with you, while others drift away to continue their own journeys at their own frequencies. Everything you've experienced, every joy and every pain, everything that surrounded you up to this exact moment was born from your old frequency, your old vibrational signature. It was the reflection of a consciousness that believed it was small, separate, and powerless. Now, operating with Thoth's keys, you're no longer just reacting to reality. You're actively writing it. You don't just create your life, you leave an indelible mark, a signature of light on the fabric of the cosmos itself. Your journey of self-liberation becomes an act of planetary service. Your awakened consciousness becomes a beacon. Your coherent frequency doesn't just benefit you, it radiates outward into the collective field of humanity, helping to raise the vibration of the entire planet. You become, as the ancient texts say, an anchor of light. Without saying a word, without trying to convince anyone, your very presence begins to awaken the remembrance of truth in others. People feel calmer, more inspired, more hopeful around your fan without knowing why. You become living proof that freedom is possible. You're no longer an echo of the past, haunted by memories and traumas of yesterday. You become the cause of the futurist seed of a new reality planted in the now. The vicious cycle of repetition, the hamster wheel you ran on for so long, hasn't just been broken, it's been transmuted. The straight line of temporal prison has become a rising spiral of conscious evolution, where each turn lifts you to a higher level of wisdom, power, and love. You've completed the first great stage of the soul's journey. Hermeticism says, the soul is its own guiding star. You've found your inner star, your divine compass. Thoth teaches that every being who reaches enlightenment, who completes this journey back to source, leaves a luminous mark on the Akashatha, etheric record of all that ever was, is, and will be. That mark serves as an illuminated patha breadcrumb trail of light, making the journey easier for all who come after. Your personal victory is a victory for all. If you've made it this far, leave the phrase in the comments. I am free from linear time. That shows me you really dove deep into this knowledge. If you want to support the channel more directly, there's a link in the first pinned comment where you can contribute. That support helps spread more content like this, and any help you can give is really important to me and to the growth of the channel. But just by staying until the end, you've already helped a lot. You can also share this video with someone who needs to hear this message. And don't leave yet. Picked a special video for you to continue this journey. Click the video on the screen now, and I'll meet you there.